What's up guys, how's it going? Welcome to another Gamer Tech review. In this review we're going to be taking a look at the Cooler Master TPC 800 CPU cooler. Now it says it's a true performance CPU cooler. It uses vapor chamber technology along with copper piping, and also it says it's ready for overclocking. Now this CPU cooler will fit a variety of different processors as well, ranging from Intel and AMD. On the Intel side of things we're looking at sockets LGA 2011, 1366, 1156, 1155 and 775. On the AMD side however, we're looking at the FM1, AM3+, AM3 and AM2. Now this CPU cooler is the first one to use vapor chamber technology. The heatsink itself is constructed out of a variety of different materials, including a copper base, 2 vapor chambers, 6 heat pipes, and also aluminium fins. Now all of these together should give me a fantastic cooler, so we'll have to see how that handles when we put some load on it after it's been installed in my PC. For now though, let's just take a look at all the things that come with it in the box. Now it does come with a variety of different hardware inside. First of all, you've got the brackets which you use to mount the cooler. It's quite cool because it's actually managed to integrate both Intel and AMD mounting onto one bracket. You also get included the mounting brackets for the fans. You can put 2 120mm fans on there if you wanted to, so you could have them in a push-pull configuration. You also get fan screws included, which is a nice little extra, along with these sticky back rubber pads which you use to put onto the fan mounts. Along with those we also get some Cooler Master thermal compound, a selection of different mounting screws and spacers for our processors, and also installation instructions and a little leaflet about the warranty. A last little fact for you, the cooler itself weighs a total of 826 grams. So, how was installing it? It wasn't too bad, to be honest. I will admit I went a little bit gun-ho when I put it in and I thought I would man up and do it without the instructions. However, I quickly learned that the instructions would be necessary to read on this one, just because I've done a few CPU coolers in the past and figured, hey, they're all going to be the same. This one mounts slightly differently to your regular CPU coolers, so if you do use this one, please do read the instructions before you install it. Also, when I mounted mine, I found it had a bit of a wiggle on it. I don't really know why, because I followed the instructions exactly. I then also took it off, cleaned everything off, and remounted it as well, and still had that wiggle. So I'm not sure where that's coming from. I don't think that it's going to affect the cooling, because it is clamped on very hard. Like, it's not loose on there, it just swivels if you kind of swivel it. I must admit as well, I did have a bit of a time attaching the fans to the cooler just because of the type of fans I was using. Originally I was trying to put on there 2 of the Cooler Master JetFlow fans. However, these fans have rubber corners on the edges which act as sound dampeners. Now because of the way the fans connect to this cooler, it meant that the clips couldn't clip on because the rubber bent back. So they would kind of stick on, but they wouldn't have a really solid clamp on it. However, then I did swap one out for a solid plastic fan and the clips worked beautifully. So it was just the fact I was using fans with rubber corners on as opposed to a fully rigid plastic fan. So if you are looking to get this cooler, please be aware that it doesn't work fantastically well with fans where the mountings are on rubber corners. It's also quite a large CPU cooler. The dimensions of it are 134mm by 74mm by 158mm. So it should fit in your case, but if you do have a smaller one, just get a tape measure out and check those measurements quickly. With all that information out of the way, let's put some load on it and see how the cooler performs. So in order to test the CPU temperatures when it's idle and when it's under load, I'm going to be using a software called Lynx, which essentially just runs a benchmark to see how well your processor is running, and it puts a decent load on your processor. As you can see from here, when the computer is idling, it bounces around 36 degrees on the minimum temperature, and during the Lynx load test it maxed out at 58 degrees. Now that is pretty good because 36 and 58 degrees are well within the safe temperatures for a working processor. All in all, I was quite happy with this cooler. It was a bit interesting putting it in, but again, that was mainly my fault because I didn't decide to read the instructions first. So everyone read the instructions first. Also, I did have a big play about because of the type of fans I was trying to use on it on the start with the rubber corners. It just meant those clips wouldn't just go on, and I think that added to a bit of my frustration when I was putting it all together. But again, that's kind of my fault because I should have worked out that the clips wouldn't work that great on that fan. And like I said, as soon as I swapped it out for a rigid fan, the clips worked beautifully. So I learned something important, which I'm telling you guys, which is fantastic. That's what these are all about. In regards to the temperatures I get, it behaves in a threshold which, you know, isn't going to cause any damage, and also it means the processor is cool enough to work efficiently. So again, I'm happy with that, that's good. And that is my review of the TPC 800. I hope it's been helpful for you and you've learned some valuable facts about the cooler itself. Please feel free to like, rate and subscribe, and if you know anyone who's looking for a CPU cooler, why not share the video. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next one. Stay fresh.